You say, Josh, what did we just witness? We watched a man creep up behind a wild bear, slap him in the butt, and run away while the bear was on attack mode. And that's got relevancy to today's video, where we are creeping up as a bunch of bulls in this market at the very, very top of the range where it's the absolute most dangerous. We might as well be going up to the bear itself, slapping it on the backside and running away. That's what investors are doing right now. But I'm going to break down the bullish and the bearish case for you today, and I'm going to take you guys into 3 macro events that are going to occur in the next 2 weeks that will move the markets. This is the Stocks with Josh show. Thank you guys for hitting the like, for watching this sunny Sunday afternoon. If you're new to this page, then hit the subscribe and the YouTube all notifications bell to get my daily stock and crypto insights, charting, and predictions. Okay, so what direction is the market going to be heading this week? The bears and the bulls both have a case, and I'm going to break it down for you guys. Okay, what are the basic bullish signs that the market is giving us right now? Well, I've told you guys repeatedly on this page, basic charting, if you're above the 200-day moving average, you're in bull territory. And there is a great deal of stocks that are above the 200-day moving average and are actually on an upward trend. So that is very bullish. And then we've got the falling VIX. I've also mentioned to you guys that if we stay below 17 on the VIX, it means that the market has no fear, because the VIX measures fear. Right now, the VIX is very low, which means that there is very minimal hedging, which means that people that are investing in Apple at $168 per share, very, very lofty price, are not terribly afraid to do so. And in addition to that, 2 more remarkable things is that we have been 6 months now in a row without making a new bottom. When we were descending all of 2022, it pretty much every 2 to 3 months we were making a new low. We are going on 6 months without making a new low, and we've been slowly drifting upwards. And then we have the sentiment report. If you look at the overall sentiment of investors right now, they're getting more and more optimistic and less bearish, imagining that we're getting ready to fall off a cliff. So with all of those things in sight, you would say, Josh, it sounds pretty good, man. Maybe we're back in the bull market. Well, pause for a moment and let's consider the bear case. Even though we are above the 200-day moving average, if you take the last push up 4,200 with today's push up to 4,200, less companies overall are above their 200-day average. And that means that we're seeing bearish divergence. So even though we've returned back up to the top, people are getting very picky and choosy, and it's not a sentiment that goes across the entire market. And that means that the overall sentiment of the market is not as good as it was when we hit those peaks at the end of February. And I'm going to quickly flash 3 charts up in front of you guys. We've got that descending pattern that we had all of 2022, and it led us into 2023, right? And then I've showed you guys that we entered a new trend when we hit October's low, that we've been steadily going up now for over 6 months. But we are now in another new trend, which is a falling wedge. And that falling wedge at this moment in time may be indicating to us that the overall bullish trend is getting exhausted, or at least losing momentum. So yes, the markets have been bullish since October, but they're losing steam right now. And the question is, how much further can they go? How much further can it go with more and more companies falling beneath the 200-day moving average? Are we not just all, as investors, creeping up behind the bear in the woods and getting its attention, slapping its and then being surprised when it turns around with a new sense of aggression to come and maul us? And then the VIX, even though it's a signal of bullishness beneath 17, we also have to take into consideration that when it gets very, very, very low, it might begin to reverse and the fear may go back up. And so the very low VIX that we're in could also be interpreted, all right, as a moment of the calm before the storm, the calm before the slap of the bear. And it also could be signaling that this might be a time to reorganize. I'm going to go into 3 macro events, but before I do, if you need better trade tools, then consider clicking on the link in the top pinned comment. Right now, they're giving away up to 15 free stocks to open and fund an account, and the potential of getting a cash coupon valued up to $1,500. And they're also offering you 1 month free subscription to Benzinga Pro, which will help you get better at your options. And then when you get all that free stuff, I host a chat group on the app called Stock Josh Fam. You could start your investing journey today and then come find us on the chat group called Stock Josh Fam and continue the conversation over there. All right, let's dive into the 3 macro events that I'm watching for the next 2 weeks that I think absolutely will move stocks and move the markets. And we know that the first one is going to be earnings. 60% of all the remaining companies are going to report earnings in the next 2 weeks. So this is going to tell the market a lot about what to expect moving forward. So who am I watching? Well, I'll tell you who's up on base that's of interest. On Monday, we've got Credit Suisse and First Republic Bank. I think these guys are an absolute train wreck, and I am not interested in trading them. I've told you guys before, Warren Buffett dumped the banks, and I think that even though some of the banks came out with decent earnings, they popped up 1 or 2%. Someone said in the comment section, Josh, don't bet against the banks. I'm not going to touch the banks right now. If you look at the chart for First Republic, it's had no dead cat bounce, which is absolutely terrifying after a massive move to the downside. You see that all it's doing is forming a base. To me, the chart looks ominous, and I think there's going to be another leg down. Who knows? If you feel confident about the banks, you do you. I'm not going to touch them. The one that does interest me is Coca-Cola, which is reporting on Monday. And I made a prediction on the last earnings report for Coca-Cola. I want you just to briefly check out this video that I did a couple months ago. Now, if we scroll up, we see the companies reporting earnings on Tuesday. The one that I'm interested in is Coca-Cola, ticker KO. Now, they're reporting before the market opens. Now, I like Coca-Cola as a defensive recession play, and it may benefit from rotation from people getting out of the risky stocks like I mentioned before. The trade risk, in my view, favors going long, and we have the opportunity Monday to take a position, which is kind of nice. I would put a stop loss in at 58.75, and I would look to take profit at a 7% jump up to around $64. I did that video in Peru, and when I went back to look at it, going into this week's earnings for Coca-Cola, I was surprised at how well I called it. It went all the way up from that entry price that I gave you guys, that area of support, to $64. And when I looked at the chart today, it had one of the clearest inverse head and shoulder patterns that I've ever seen, with a neckline clearly sitting right beneath $64. Now, I want to give you a little bit of knowledge on patterns. The best head and pattern shoulder that you want to see is one that is at the top or bottom of a move. But what you want to see for a head and shoulders pattern at the top of a move is that typically signals a breakdown. You don't normally see an inverse head and shoulders at the top of a move. So I'm a little bit leery of this one. But here's how it could be played. The $64 clearly is the range. That's clearly the neckline, slightly beneath that. If we get a definitive move above it, and then a back test, and we can hold that for at least a week above that critical $64 level, then yes, this can go back and test its local high at $68. And so it's going to be one to watch. I think that Coca-Cola is a defensive or more recessionary play, because at the end of the day, when we move into a recession, people typically go back to basics for entertainment. They go back to small pleasures like a nice cold Coca-Cola, something they're familiar with. And so Coke and some of these basic companies like McDonald's, they stop going to Panera, they start going to McDonald's. These are some of the plays you want to consider in a recession or a defense environment. And I said in that last video that smart money was going to begin to roll out of some big tech and begin to go into some of these types of companies. And that's what we saw from last quarter till this quarter. All right, so who am I watching for Tuesday? We've got Microsoft, Google, McDonald's, and GEHC. You guys know I showed you the chart for GEHC recently. It's doing really, really well. And if they come out with good earnings, this thing, there's no reason why it couldn't go all the way up beneath $100, possibly even breaking through. But it's, again, you play at this moment with the bear that's been getting slapped on the backside. You play defensively by putting your stop loss in. You can't afford to just let these things run when you're buying at the top. Right now, GEHC has had an incredible move up, but it may just be the beginning, but you want to play with your stop loss. And I will be covering Microsoft and Google on Monday. And then on Wednesday, we've got Meta, Facebook. It's had one of the best run-ups in big tech out of all of them, going up over 130%. I'm going to be covering that for you guys on Tuesday. Thursday, Amazon and Snap. I covered Amazon the other day. I told you the charts looked bullish. I think we're going to see a nice move between now and earnings for Amazon. And on that note, go ahead and tell me in the comment section which companies are of interest to you. What are you watching going into earnings? I wanted to briefly point out the moomoo earnings calendar. I love this thing. Once you get the moomoo app, it's got one of the best and most simplest to use earnings calendars that let you know who's up on bat for earnings weeks. Okay, and then two more macro events that we need to keep our eye on. These are two more opportunities where that bear in the woods might get slapped from behind, and that's going to be the Fed. We're going into the end of this month, and right at the beginning of May, we're going to get the Fed's decision, and we're going to hear dialogue from the Fed. And this is absolutely something, if he continues to be hawkish, he can spook these markets. And since we're at the top of the range, like I said in some of my past videos on big tech, don't fall into that bull trap. Don't get mauled by the bear. You need to play defensively going into these major macro events. And the last one is one that really you haven't heard too much about, and that's the debt ceiling. This is going to come even further into focus in the month of May, the debt ceiling. And here's the point I want to draw out for you guys. It's going to be a higher risk concern for the smart money. They're going to take a more risk-on approach to investing because of this unresolved issue. The market hates politically unresolved issues because they don't know what the outcome will be. So they will go risk on, not risk off. That's it for me. Thank you guys for connecting on this beautiful Sunday afternoon and for hitting that like, hit the subscribe and the YouTube all notification to get these insights going into earnings this week. Peace and blessings, my friends. Take care. I'll see you in the next video.